Alright everyone, NPC Unknown here, and I really didn't think I had anything to report or to talk about today until I came across an article that made me chuckle. And it really does kind of help me want to voice my own opinion on the current gaming sphere right now as I try to continue to improve and to continue to try and grow whatever I'm creating here. So the article is God of War creator says Xbox sucks in a bizarre rant. Okay, it's not so much black and white as that headline. So, obviously, last week it was announced that two of the most highly anticipated Xbox exclusives in Starfield and Redfall have been pushed back to 2023. And obviously, a lot of fans are probably disappointed and upset with the delay. But we have to remember this is Bethesda, and there's probably a lot of positives for it if they've actually done this time round. So, let's look into the article and then drop some of my own opinions, some of my own preferences. And obviously, I would love to hear your feedback about them as well. So, obviously, Starfield got delayed, but this shouldn't be much of a surprise, as there were rumors coming out not too long ago, especially when one former Bethesda developer was ripping the game's engine and fly mechanics to shreds. Not surprised if Bethesda are still using that creation engine. You can call it what you want. Creation Engine 1, Creation Engine 2, Creation Engine 5.5, it's still the engine, or the base of it, is still the engine they used in like Morrowind. It needs to be cut and disappeared, and they need a brand new engine. Obviously, Starfield was meant to release in November, but now it's been delayed, and that obviously brings up the classic quote, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. Bethesda know this one all too well themselves, with Fallout 76 being one of the most memed and worst reviewed games that they've ever put out. So one of the people that has taken to social media to talk about this delay is none other than David Jaffe, the creator of the original God of War game, or the God of War series. So he took to his YouTube channel to give his thought on the delays, as well as the current state of Xbox and its CEO Phil Spencer. More broadly, he wasn't very positive. I know it's Bethesda, and I know these seeds were probably already planted well before maybe even Microsoft acquired them, but it still falls in the lap of Phil Spencer and his team. That seems to be, at this point, one can only say, are being paid insane amounts of money by someone to take a fall and immediately fuck it up, he said. I love my Xbox, and I love Game Pass, but this has been ridiculous. So obviously, the Xbox Series X has had a bit of a rough launch as far as exclusives go, with the last Halo game also being delayed, and now this one. There are reasons for that if you look at it kind of logically and break it down. There has been a global shit show, what we call, let's just call it C19, which meant a lot of studios had to start working remotely, and maybe at home they don't have the equipment that they would normally have in their studios, and it might be more difficult to work from home than in the studio. I don't know. There's obviously been shortages of consoles, so that means not everyone has these new consoles. That might mean these Sony and Xbox are looking at kind of slowing down the rate of exclusives, because like PlayStation themselves have had some exclusives, but nothing major really. They had this Miles Morales when the PS5 launched. It was okay, but it was more of an extension of the Spider-Man game. They had Ratchet and Clank, which was really good. It was fun. It was enjoyable, but it was just more Ratchet and Clank. They had Gran Turismo 7, and we all kind of know how that went, with it basically being a pay-to-win game. Anyway, moving on. David Jaffe calls Spencer a visionary, adding that he loves his vision for Game Pass. Jaffe went as far to say that the Microsoft gaming CEO sucks at managing development and should hire someone to oversee the games while develops Xbox further as a platform. To continue his quote, he says, "You're this fucking close, Phil Spencer. Your plan is sound. Your infrastructure, when it comes to these studios, is sound. It's great, but you can't manage. You just can't do it." Jaffe doesn't actually work on the God of War series anymore. Obviously, that goes to Cory Balrog. So it's not like PlayStation have just started throwing hands at Xbox all of a sudden. With the whole rant was still pretty wild, and there's one thing this article doesn't quote that I saw somewhere else, where he said basically he doesn't want Phil Spencer to lose his job, but if someone else can do it better, then maybe they should replace him. It's a delayed game. Calm your face, mate. So which goes back to my own kind of rant before, or my own opinion on delays. This delay is definitely, for Bethesda, logistically, probably a positive in the long run. As I said before, they launched Fallout 76. It was an absolute disaster, where its day one patch was bigger than the game itself. And maybe, just maybe, they don't want to be that again, with everyone kind of forgetting about that, to replace it with Cyberpunk. So delaying the game, making sure it works, genuinely works, not Todd Howard it works, fixing any issues, fixing any bugs. That can only be good for the studio to kind of rebuild its reputation. Maybe they also have to redo some stuff, because there actually hasn't been any gameplay footage of Starfield, if I'm to believe. But then this also is a longer standing issue with the gaming industry as a whole, with how studios are developed. It's now very much mainstream for people to write about games. I recently did a video about FIFA splitting from EA, and that article being on the BBC, which is kind of unheard of, as well as like publications like The Guardian having a gaming section. There's nothing there, it's actually crap, but they have one. As well as a lot more gaming websites popping up every day, which means studios are under a lot more pressure, rightful pressure in a lot of ways, on how they manage their staff and their work environment. Obviously, we've had a couple of years of studios being accused of alleged sexual harassment, serious misconduct, and a ridiculous amount of crunch when it comes to getting these games over the line. But that then could also be a longer standing issue with how games are actually promoted. Take Bethesda, for example, when they released the teaser trailer for the next Elder Scrolls game. There was no need for that to be announced when it was. The game might not even be in development, it might be in production, it might be in pre-planning, but they don't have to start creating that hype now. Wouldn't it be easier on your studios to build a game, design it, get it as near as possible to going gold, start QA testing the shit out of the game, fixing those bugs, and then promoting it in different ways? Because obviously, like stuff like E3 isn't really happening anymore. And if you're with Xbox or with PlayStation, you have like the state of plays where you can promote it, and you can do that for like 6 or 7 months or however long you want to promote it. And you don't actually have to put people under stress to get the game done and finished over the line. Have it nearly done, then start promoting. And your games may be better. Obviously, another thing they need to do is actually learn to write more engaging characters than all these diversity tools that someone like Activision want to use. David Jaffe says Phil Spencer sucks. What do you think? How do you think he's managing Xbox? And what is your opinion on the delay of Starfield? Thank you to everyone that's watched my previous videos. Thanks to everyone that has commented. Thank you to anyone that's subscribed, as I'm trying to grow and learn how to do this. If you like this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you feel like it. Thank you very much for paying attention to this video. This is NPC Unknown, and I'm done. This video is game over.